It's Friday, September 16th, 2022. Very excited about the fact that Sean and I have released a new What's Current season. Episode 1 of Season 2 of our What's Current with Lunz and Sean podcast is out now. I'm super pumped about that. It's been a long time coming. Some of you may know, for those of you that know, we released Season 1 2 summers ago. Summer 2020, we put out a season, went on a hiatus for a while, have lived a lot of life between now and then, and, I'm excited that he and I are back at it again. So, all right, just shifted gears, literally fresh off of a freestyle. How quickly can I, hop modes into a podcast mind? I think that's one of the key skills in life, is being able to kind of rapidly shift your attention as needed. Because, of course, being present is one of the most valuable abilities that you can have and practice regularly and make habitual. But as quickly as things change in our world, and how many distractions, both created and unexpected, pop up, how can we be present with each thing? And how can we be present enough to just eliminate or say no to a thing that might be, competing for our attention? Something that pops in, and naturally we might want to just do it all and handle it all. Oh, I can multitask. I got 3 things going on at once. No big deal. I'm a superhero. But your presence is diminished, and you can't deny that, because it's scientifically proven that we as humans cannot multitask successfully. Successfully meaning, giving our full attention to more than one thing at once. So no need to fight that. Just accept that, and, set your life up. Practice, the management of your own life on a regular basis to, gradually become more confident juggling several balls at once, It's not an easy skill. Something that I'm working on myself is, having my full attention and focus and presence on what's happening in the moment, knowing that there is plenty of other things I could be doing. It's like becoming confident with your choices, and learning the art of good enough. Like decision fatigue is a real thing. If you spend your mental RAM every day making a million decisions because you don't have habits or kind of a somewhat automated flow to your day, you're using up your precious resources of the brain to constantly be making decisions that could be already decided ahead of time by habit and other things like that, which gives you, more capacity to choose what to focus on. And then when you choose what to focus on, going all in with that. Not knowing 100% for sure, of course, that is the best thing or the best decision you could have made in that moment. That thing might not actually be the best thing that you could be doing at the moment, but we can't expect to always be able to make that call. We're not designed to know exactly what we should be doing the most in every moment. But what we can do is become confident enough in our decisions to say, all right, I'm going to spend time, focus, attention, energy on this right now. That's good enough. That feels good enough. It feels aligned enough with, your purpose, values, interests, responsibilities, all of that. So, I know that's quite a ramble right there, but just a little tidbit about becoming okay with your decisions and not, spending too much time or effort on making the perfect choice about whatever it might be. An example that just popped in my mind. I need a new pair of running shoes. I have for a while. Now, it might be a natural tendency of my personality type to, really spend a lot of time, figuring out what the perfect pair of shoes is. Go to several different stores, surf online for a while. Honestly, the reason I haven't gotten a new pair of running shoes that I've needed for, well over a year probably, a while now, is because I know that once I open that can of worms that I will be, lost in the black hole of, paralysis by analysis. So basically, what I will need to do in order to get that pair of shoes and check that item off the list is just be okay with good enough. Maybe go into one or two stores and just be like, all right, these are good enough. I'm not like a professional athlete. I'm not a professional runner. So I don't need the perfect pair of shoes. I just need good enough. And I think that good enough applies to a big part of our lives. So just learn you're good enough and move on. You're not always going to produce your best work in every moment. You're not always going to finish every single thing you start. But what you can control is blocking out in a half an hour or an hour of time to work on something that's important to you in whatever way. And you can reach a sense of completion by simply putting in that amount of time, because that's what you can control. You can't always control if it's your best work or if you finish something to your standards. But what you can control is putting in the work for an allotted amount of time. And to rope that back into the whole good enough topic, you don't want to spend a lot of time on the decisions that ultimately don't matter that much. You don't want to over-index on something that doesn't deserve that amount of your time, attention, energy. So find what your good enough is. If it's making a decision on dinner that night, spend 5 minutes figuring it out, 3 minutes figuring it out. You could sit there and make a huge list of all your favorite foods and everything that you've made before or everything that you've picked up before. Favorite places for this, favorite pizza places, all this. That could take you 20, 30 minutes. And, then you've wasted the time getting to dinner or getting started on it and enjoying the experience of dinner because you spent too much time deciding about it. Find good enough. Start to maybe set a stopwatch when you're working on something or thinking about something. And if you need to reach a point of completion or a decision, set a timer, and once that timer goes off after 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is, move on. Good enough. Good enough. So easy to, get into the rabbit hole. But anyway, just some random thoughts. Thanks for tuning in. I hope to do more of these little just random, tidbits, like these random topics. Like I had no idea that I was going to talk about this. I just pressed record. So, hope it brought value to you. Still figuring out this whole thing. This is very early on in my individual podcast journey, or I should say making it publicly releasing my work. I've been recording stuff for a long time, but this little bit is a perfect example of good enough. I don't think it's perfect. I don't think I delivered the message perfectly. I think, I second guess myself of, did I repeat myself too many times? Did I, keep interest? Am I annoying my potential listeners? Whatever. Maybe it's good. I'm weeding out the people that aren't going to really be on board for my messages and what I have to talk about. So you know what? It's good enough. It's good enough to release. So if you're listening to it right now, well, then I've done my job. I've overcome the fear of releasing my work and subjecting myself to the judgment and everything about it. And I'll shut up now because I got to go into work. So, all right, make the most. Find your good enough. Catch you next time. Peace.